I broke into a rich woman's home to steal some cash, but her mansion was such a mess, I broke down. As a neat freak thief with six-pack abs, I spent the whole afternoon cleaning her place and left a note calling her messy, then took 1,895 yuan as my labor fee. I had just picked up my bowl at a noodle shop when the police grabbed my shoulder. But Yi Xichao signed a forgiveness letter on the spot, and afterward, she asked me out every day, always rushing to pay the bill, until that glass of red wine slid down my throat. When I woke up the next day, I finally understood. I had already fallen into her trap. My name is Jiang Wei. I make a living with lockpicking skills. But I never used that skill the honest way. Back home, my sick mother still needed medicine. My tiny monthly income could not fill the hospital's bottomless pit. When a man is forced to the edge, dignity stops being something he can afford. This time, my target was room 1704 in a luxury building west of town. The owner was named Yi Xichao, with skin like porcelain and brows like a painting. Even her name carried a coolness untouched by the world. I had watched her for 2 full weeks. Her routine was like clockwork, 9 to 6 every day, a completely standard office worker. Targets like her were low risk after she left, practically a fat sheep made for me. Today was the day to strike. I followed her to the entrance hall and watched her graceful figure enter the garage. I counted 10 full minutes in my head, making sure she would not come back. Then I lowered my cap and strolled upstairs like nothing was wrong. My tool slid smoothly into the lock with a few light turns of my wrist. Click! The security door opened at once. I slipped inside sideways and shut the door behind me. Every move was smooth as water. But the next second, a stench of leftover takeout, sour unwashed clothes mixed with perfume and some strange lingering scent slammed straight into my face. I froze in the entryway, almost thinking I had picked the wrong door and broken into a garbage station. I know, many young people keep messy homes. But this level of chaos, even I, Jiang Wei, had seen plenty. And after years in the streets, this still opened my eyes. Clothes were piled like a mountain on the sofa. There was no telling which were clean and which had long gone dirty. Takeout boxes trembled on the coffee table, with half-eaten food still inside. Some boxes had even grown mold. The floor had nowhere to step. Empty makeup bottles and torn-up delivery boxes. I even wondered whether she ever walked it home or just floated above the mess. Could this really be the home a fairy like Yi Xichao? Where was the fairy air? Had this room swallowed it all? My last bit of professional discipline was instantly drowned by pure physical disgust. The neat freak buried in my bones could not accept this filthy nightmare. Rage started rising inside me. What a beautiful apartment. Bright from north to south, with tasteful decoration. How did she turn it into a pigsty? Fine. You win, stealing can wait. Until this place looked human again, I could not even find a place to stand in and steal from. If word got out, our whole trade would lose face. I dropped my tool bag by the door, rolled up my sleeves and got to work. That job dragged on until 4:30. I, Jiang Wei, was not bad looking, shaped by years of hard work, a fit thief with six-pack abs. Inside Yi Xichao's mansion, sweated like a free cleaner, taking out trash and wiping tables and mopping floors, sorting all those expensive clothes, hanging what should be hung, and sending the rest to laundry. The dishes soaking in the kitchen sink looked ready to grow mushrooms. The bathroom counter was covered with makeup bottles, scattered everywhere while I cursed inside. This job was harder than picking 18 locks. When I finally tied up the last trash bag, dusk had already fallen outside. Looking at the refreshed living room, the floor was shiny enough to reflect a person. Everything was neatly arranged, and only a faint lemon scent of detergent remained in the air. I let out a long breath and felt a ridiculous sense of achievement. I was truly exhausted. Then I slipped into her bedroom to find valuables. Inside the nightstand drawer were some loose cash and jewelry. After searching around, the cash was not much, just 1,895 yuan. Holding that stack of money, I finally felt a little balanced. Fine, I will call this my labor fee. Even if the pay hardly matched the work I had done. I found a sticky note and wrote her a message in my best stylish handwriting. Such a nice home. Look what you turned it into. Even a thief like me could not stand it. I started cleaning when you left for work, and it took me the whole day. I am dead tired. The loose cash in the drawer is my payment. And if you really have no time, hire a part-time cleaner next time. I slapped that angry, yet professionally caring note on the coffee table, then pocketed the 1,895 yuan, grabbed my tool bag, and dragged my exhausted body away from the battlefield I had fought in all day. Xichao dragged her nearly broken body back to her own front door. Work had been especially chaotic today, and she felt completely drained. All she wanted now was to kick off her heels and bury herself in that soft pile of clothes, then lie there without moving. The key slid into the lock and turned. With a crisp click, the door opened, but that familiar blend of overnight and perfume did not rush out as expected. Instead, a cool fresh lemon scent drifted out. Yi Xichao froze with one foot in the air. Is this my home? As if shocked, she pulled her foot back and checked the door number in panic. 1704. That was right. It was her doghouse. No. Her blessed little kingdom. She carefully leaned halfway inside again, and her eyes widened at once. The floor, once swallowed by clutter, was now shining like new. It even clearly reflected her stunned and blank face. The mountain of clothes on the sofa was gone, revealing its original textured fabric. And the coffee table, oh my god, she had almost forgotten. Her coffee table was made of clear glass. She looked like a country grandma in a grand garden, tiptoeing inside with trembling steps, afraid to dirty this strange yet familiar pure land. Then she whispered, oh my god. Everywhere she looked, everything was clean, everything was in order. She rushed into the bedroom. The once chaotic bed had been made perfectly flat. Even the corner wrinkles looked carefully designed. With trembling fingers, she opened the wardrobe. The clothes inside were sorted by color and season, hanging in perfect order. Even her cartoon print underwear and her sexy lace pieces were folded neatly in their own compartments, carrying the fresh scent of sunshine and detergent as she covered her cheeks, feeling a hot rush shoot from her feet to her head. The kitchen was even more unbelievable. The stove sparkled, the shiny range hood reflected her shocked but oddly cute face. The mountain of dishes in the sink had vanished. The drying rack looked crisp and clean. Did a snail fairy visit? Or was it some admirer from work coming here to help her? Wait. There were only two keys. One was with me, and the other. Just as her brain was about to overload, her gaze fell on the spotless coffee table, where a sticky note stood out clearly. She walked over and picked it up. The handwriting was actually quite stylish. Such a nice home. Look what you turned it into. Even a thief like me could not stand it. I started cleaning when you left for work, and it took me the whole day. I am dead tired. The 1,000+ yuan in the drawer is my pay. If you truly have no time, remember to hire a part-time cleaner. A thief. Yi Xichao snapped back to reality and rushed into the bedroom. She yanked open the nightstand drawer, and sure enough, the loose cash was gone. A chill shot from her feet to her head. A thief had broken in. But what was wrong with this thief? He ignored all the jewelry and appliances and took less than 2,000 in cash, then gave her place a full deep cleaning from top to bottom, and even left a note to lecture her. Had this plot gone completely off track? She suddenly remembered the tiny camera hidden in the living room decor, and hurriedly took out her phone to check it. Fast forward, then faster. On screen, a tall straight man. Soon after she left, skillfully opened the door lock. Yi Xichao's heart tightened. There he is. But after the man entered, his reaction was exactly like hers. He clearly froze on the spot. The camera even captured the flash of shock on his face, and the sense of collapse he could not hide. Then an absurd scene unfolded. He did not start rummaging through cabinets for valuables. Instead, he stood there with hands on hips, trying to calm down before her pigsty. Then he seemed to make up his mind, dropped his small bag by the door, and after that, the camera faithfully recorded a live broadcast worthy of a housekeeping miracle, taking out trash and wiping tables, mopping floors and sorting clothes with skill. Careful down to the smallest detail, especially when she saw the man on screen, frowning tightly, yet still carefully hand-washing the lace pieces she had tossed around, including those intimate little things. Yi Xichao's cheeks flushed red all the way to her ears. This is way too embarrassing, but somehow, staring at the screen, at that strange man sweating through the work, sometimes glaring at stubborn stains with utter disgust, and sometimes after conquering a dirty corner, showing a faint pride, she could not help smiling. While deep in her heart, a strange ripple quietly spread when he focused on housework. His side profile looked sharp and firm. Every move showed tight muscle lines, especially when he bent down, and those faint abs appeared. Stop. What are you thinking? He is a thief. The last frame of the surveillance video froze on him holding the cash and turning to leave. Yi Xichao hugged her phone and sank into the sofa. Her heart was beating out of rhythm. In her mind, it was like a loop button had been pressed, replaying over and over. A handsome, fit man. A bizarre obsession for cleaning, in such an absurd way, had crashed into her world. The more she thought about it, the hotter her cheeks became, the harder her heart thundered. After a long while, she took a deep breath, trying to calm her restless heartbeat and her burning face. Then she quietly made a decision. Her pale, slender fingers trembled slightly as she picked up the phone and unlocked the screen. Her voice carried a hint of hidden embarrassment and faint excitement. Hello. Is this 110? I want to report a case. My home was visited by a very strange thief. After I left Yi Xichao's home, night had already spread over the streets. I wandered to the snack street with more than 1,000 yuan in my pocket, but the money felt strangely heavy. Not because of its weight, but because my chest felt blocked. This job was a total loss for show. If word got out, the other thieves would laugh their teeth out. Drained in body and soul, my stomach was nearly stuck to my spine. When I saw Old Chen's chicken noodle shop, my legs turned in before my brain did. Boss, one big bowl of beef noodles, extra meat and an egg. I slapped the money onto the greasy table, and my voice sounded completely hollow. Old Chen answered like always, coming right up. Xiao Wei, you look really worn out today. I gave a vague hum in reply, then collapsed into a corner seat. The shop smelled of rich bone broth and the warm smoke of street life. Only then did I feel like I had finally returned from Yi Xichao's battlefield to reality. The noodles were soon placed before me. I grabbed my chopsticks and stirred them, blowing on the steam before taking a bite. At that exact moment, several figures in police uniforms suddenly rushed inside. Police, do not move. Before I could react, both my arms were twisted behind my back. With a crisp click, cold handcuffs locked around my wrists. The noodles hanging by my mouth fell back into the bowl with a splash. Diners in the shop were stunned. Every gaze snapped toward me. My mind went buzz and turned completely blank. In this line of work, getting caught was inevitable. Walk by the river enough, and your shoes get wet. But why did it happen so fast? Surveillance, it had to be surveillance. Absolutely surveillance. Yi Xichao, her place must have hidden cameras. Damn it, I was too busy cleaning. How did I forget the most important? Professional instinct. What is your name? A young officer questioned me. Jiang Wei. I lowered my head, my face burning hot. Not because I had been caught, but because the way I got caught was just too damn humiliating. This afternoon, did you enter room 1704 of Legion Garden? The officer kept asking. Yes. I admitted it. The footage probably showed everything. Caught with the evidence. Denying it would be useless. Take him away. Two officers escorted me out of the noodle shop and pushed me into the police car. Through the car window, I saw passers-by pointing at me, and Old Chen's shocked, regretful face. It is over, completely over. Breaking and entering theft. The amount was not huge, but it was enough to make me suffer. My mother was still waiting for money at the hospital. I really was useless. In the interrogation room, the lights hurt my eyes. I explained the whole story, from beginning to end, including how I picked the lock, how the scene stunned me, how I somehow started cleaning, how I took the 1,895 yuan as a labor fee and left a note scolding her for being messy. The officer taking notes listened, with an incredibly complicated expression, clearly wanting to laugh but holding it in. Jiang Wei, does this count as rebelling during a theft? And doing something brave? No, helping others for fun, I answered with a bitter face. Officer, I accept it. I was just stupid. I could not stand such a mess. I did not spend a single yuan. It is all still in my pocket. I will return every bit of it. Punish me however you should. After the process was done, I was temporarily put in a holding cell, lying on the hard plank bed, staring straight at the ceiling. My heart churned wildly, with every feeling at once. The next morning, while I was thinking about my life, the officer on duty came over. Jiang Wei. Come out for a moment. I thought they were questioning me again, so I followed out with my head down, but I never expected the reception room to also have a woman standing there. The air in the reception room carried a subtle tension. I buried my head against my chest and only glanced from the corner of my eye, catching that gentle silhouette. Yi Xichao wore a pale blue dress today. Her black hair fell softly over her shoulders. And now she stood beside an officer, with a touch of unease in her eyes, but also a faint hint of hard-to-explain excitement. You are Jiang Wei, right? An older officer spoke first. After our verification, and after speaking with Ms. Yi Xichao, there are a few things we need to explain to you clearly. My heart clenched hard, and I held my breath, waiting for judgment. First, according to local rules, the criminal filing threshold for theft cases is generally set at 2,000 yuan. Around that line. The officer paused slightly. His eyes moved past me first, then turned toward Yi Xichao. The cash you took that day has been confirmed by Ms. Yi. The total was 1,895 yuan. That number still did not reach the filing threshold. Then the officer's voice softened a little. On Ms. Yi Xichao's side, after learning the whole story, she submitted a written forgiveness statement, saying she would not pursue your actions. When I heard that, I snapped my head up with disbelief in my eyes and looked at Yi Xichao. She happened to be looking over too. Our eyes collided in midair. She was like a startled little deer, quickly turning her gaze away. The strangest thing was, on her fair cheeks, a suspicious blush actually appeared. I picked the lock to Yi Xichao's home and stole over 1,000 yuan in cash. Yet she did not pursue it and even gave them a forgiveness letter. At last, the officer cleared his throat, as if trying hard to stay serious. Your behavior, although already counts as illegal home intrusion and shows subjective intent to steal, but during the actual process, the situation was indeed rather special. After weighing everything, this is your first offense, and your attitude is sincere. The amount involved did not meet the filing line, and the victim has fully forgiven you. So after review, we have reached a final decision. Regarding your actions this time, we will not open a criminal case. I was free. The huge surprise crashed down on me, leaving me dizzy and stunned. But the officer's tone suddenly changed. The law is no joke. Illegally entering someone else's home is already a clear violation. Considering the special nature of your case and the potential impact on public order, we have decided to punish you with 10 days of administrative detention, along with necessary legal education. We hope you will reflect deeply, stand tall from now on, and live as an honest man. 10 days in detention compared with possible prison time felt like a heavy sentence had turned light in an instant. I was so relieved I nearly floated away. I accept it. I will reflect properly. Thank you, officers. I nodded quickly as the giant stone on my chest finally dropped back to the ground. Once the paperwork was done, I followed the officer toward the door, ready to report to detention. As I passed by Yi Xichao, I still could not stop myself, and looked at her with mixed feelings. Well, Ms. Yi, thank you. I awkwardly forced out those words. not knowing what expression I should wear in front of her. I broke in to steal, yet got no criminal case, plus a bonus package of free food, lodging, and legal education. My experience was truly one of a kind. Yi Xichao still had a blush lingering by her ears. She quickly lowered her voice and said, "Actually, I should be thanking you. You cleaned my place so well. It has never been that tidy." Her voice grew lower and lower, almost like a whisper. The officer beside us coughed in time, so I hurriedly followed him, while my heart felt like a spilled spice rack, with every flavor mixed together. How exactly did this woman's mind work? My 15 days of detention passed in a flash. Besides studying laws and rules, the rest of my time went into reflecting on life. I finally understood it clearly. Crooked paths like that could never be touched again. This time, I got lucky. Next time, no one could say what would happen, even for my mother in the hospital. I had to find an honest way to make a living. When I stepped out of detention, the sunlight outside felt dazzling. I took a deep breath of free air, ready to start a new chapter. But just as I reached the street corner, a snow-white Porsche silently glided up beside me. The window slowly rolled down, revealing Yi Xichao's delicate makeup and slightly rosy pretty face. "Jiang Wei, you are out." I froze where I stood, alarms screaming inside my head. What was this girl doing? "Ms. Yi, do you need something?" Was the case not already closed? Why was she coming to me again? Yi Xichao bit her lower lip, as if making a huge decision. "Well, to celebrate your freedom, let me treat you to a meal. Just think of it as my thanks for cleaning my home last time." My eyes went wide at once. I almost thought my ears had failed me. The victim wanted to invite the offender because she was grateful he cleaned the home he illegally entered. "Ms. Yi, that seems a bit improper. Before this, just let the past stay in the past. I already gave the forgiveness letter. So will you give me this honor or not?" Her tone carried a spoiled kind of bossiness, but her eyes were full of expectation and even a certainty that was hard to resist. Looking at her like that, I felt like my soul was hooked and somehow nodded. Then, "All right," I awkwardly opened the passenger door and sat inside. The car was filled with that same fresh scent from her cleaned apartment, mixed with the pleasant perfume on her. The seat was soft, and everything was quiet, yet I felt even more uneasy. I had just been released from a cell, and now sat beside a beauty in a luxury car. The picture felt completely wrong. Yi Xichao also seemed tense, both hands gripping the steering wheel, as she focused on driving, but every now and then, she stole a quick glance at me. At last, the car stopped in front of an elegant private restaurant. The entrance was quiet and refined, and the private room was exquisite compared with the smoky little shops I usually knew. This was another world entirely. While flipping through the menu, her eyes barely paused on the prices, as she smoothly ordered several dishes. "Anything you cannot eat?" I answered simply, "No. Anything is fine." I had no energy to care about dishes. My mind was stuck on this strange situation. When the dishes arrived one by one, only the two of us remained, and the strange mood grew thicker. The table was full of delicate dishes, beautiful and fragrant, but in my mouth, they tasted like wax. "Well, Ms. Yi, why did you help me and invite me to this meal? After all, I am." Those two words reached my lips, but I still could not say them. Yet she understood perfectly. A faint blush rose on Yi Xichao's cheeks. She used her chopsticks to poke at the rice in her bowl, her voice very low. At first, I was really angry, and I was truly scared. But after watching the footage, I thought you were such a strange person. And not really a bad one. She paused for a moment, then raised her face, her bright eyes fixed on me. "What kind of thief would spend a whole day deep cleaning the victim's home, then leave a note to lecture them. Do you know? When you were mopping and grimacing at those stubborn stains, and when you folded my underwear by category, with that disgusted but serious face. How funny it was. My face felt like it had caught fire. Red from my neck to my forehead. She really had watched all the footage. Even those details, how humiliating. That was just my compulsion acting up. I still wanted to explain, but Yi Xichao suddenly smiled. I know. That is why I think you are special. She placed food into my bowl, and her tone grew more relaxed. Honestly, I should thank you. When I came home that day, that clean space made me feel like my whole life had brightened. And then I looked into it a little and learned your mother is in the hospital, and you are short on money. My heart suddenly tightened, and I stared at her in alarm. Do not overthink it. I do not mean anything else. I just wanted to help you. As for your mother's medical bills, I already deposited some money first, so you do not need to worry for now. What medical bills? She paid them for me. Her words hit like a sudden bomb, blasting my mind blank. No. I cannot take that money. We are not family or friends. And besides, I blurted it out without thinking. But Yi Xichao cut me off, leaning slightly forward, a little closer to me. Her warm breath, carrying perfume, brushed my face, and her voice turned softly suggestive. I said I am lending it to you, not giving it away for free. If you feel bad about it, just pay it back slowly. How do I pay it back? I instinctively wanted to say I could not even find a decent job. But when I looked up, I met her eyes. Those eyes shimmered with light, clearly reflecting my miserable state. That is easy. You can keep cleaning my place to pay the debt. Your skills. I have watched them many times, and I am very satisfied. One visit counts as 1,000 yuan. How about it? 1,000 each time. That price was far above the normal market rate. Besides, when the words "clean my place" came from her lips, with this distance between us and that look in her eyes, the meaning felt different. It no longer sounded like simple manual labor. My heart began pounding wildly, out of control, and my throat moved on its own. In the air, tiny currents seemed to crackle silently, and the room felt several degrees warmer. What exactly do you mean? She leaned back in her chair and gently swirled her wineglass. I mean exactly what I said, but her gaze still hooked firmly onto me. After that strange thank you dinner between Yi Xichao and me, a very odd thread seemed to form. Every 3 or 4 days, her message would arrive on time. The content was always the same, and the tone was completely confident. Jiang Wei, the place is messy again. Come clean it up. At the end came a transfer. Exactly 1,000 yuan. Every time, I warned myself. This was debt repayment, a proper job. But every time I used the key to open 1704 and faced a room not as tragic as before, yet still messy beyond belief, a strange discomfort rose in my chest. What exactly was I now? Her personal cleaner, or some kind of strange fantasy object? When I cleaned, Yi Xichao was sometimes home, sometimes not. Whenever she was home, she curled deep into the sofa with a laptop on her knees for work, or watched some drama series. Every so often, her eyes would leave the screen and follow my figure around. That gaze did not feel like supervision. It felt more like appreciation, and it made my skin crawl. Even my mopping slowed several levels. Once, I was fighting an old patch of grease on the stove, when she shuffled over in slippers. "Do you only know how to clean? I am hungry." "I am tired of takeout," she said. Without looking up, I snapped back. "Then learn to cook if you are tired of it." "But I cannot." There was a hint of whining in her voice. "You clean so efficiently. So cooking should be good too. Show me." Maybe it was her tone. Or maybe I wanted to prove something, but I somehow put down my rag, washed my hands and opened her fridge. The ingredients inside were complete, probably bought recently. "What do you want to eat?" I tied on an apron, stiffly. "Anything you make, I will eat." That day, I used what was in the fridge and made 3 simple dishes and a soup. Braised pork ribs, steamed sea bass, garlic broccoli, and tomato egg drop soup, all ordinary home-cooked dishes. But the heat and seasoning were just right. When the food reached the table, Yi Xichao tasted one pork rib, and her eyes curved like moons. "Jiang Wei, this is amazing." She ate like a storm, not caring about her image. While stuffing food into her mouth, she praised me through full cheeks. "Better than a 5-star hotel chef. Your cooking is incredible." Seeing how happily she ate, the reluctance in my heart somehow faded a little, and even a small sense of pride appeared. After that meal, Yi Xichao called me over more often, and her focus clearly shifted from cleaning to cooking. Until one day, I had just cleaned her chosen area and was about to enter the kitchen when she called me to the living room. "Jiang Wei, let me discuss something with you." Her voice carried a smile. "Look, you are great at cleaning, and your cooking fits my taste perfectly. As for me, I happen to need someone reliable. So stop doing temporary jobs and become my full-time live-in housekeeper." Full-time live-in. Yes, 10,000 a month with food and lodging. I will cover your mother's medical bills until she recovers. How about it? You have no reason to refuse. Over 10,000 a month and all my mother's medical bills covered. This was more than just a generous offer. It was a pie falling from the sky, landing perfectly on the gap I needed filled most. I could not find a reason to refuse and did not want to refuse. "All right, deal." I packed a simple bag and officially moved into Yi Xichao's guest room. My role changed from temporary cleaner to live-in housekeeper. The work was just as she said, cleaning and cooking, with occasional errands, and she paid with shocking generosity, even advancing my first month's salary, so I could send it home first. However, from the moment I moved into her home, my joy over that lucky offer was soon replaced by growing daily torment, and the source of that torment was Yi Xichao herself. She seemed to completely let herself go, or rather, she dropped every disguise in front of me. Her home outfits grew bolder and freer. Those silk strap nightdresses became almost her standard uniform. The fabric was thin as cicada wings, clinging closely to every curve of her body. Before, I never looked closely, but now, under the same roof, I realized her figure was almost unfairly good. She was like a wild rose in full bloom, bright and bold, with a tempting fragrance all over. While I, her so-called housekeeper, day after day, under that intense visual assault, struggled to keep my last bit of reason. I warned myself again and again. "Jiang Wei, you are here to work. She is your employer who pays you. Do not think thoughts you should not think." So I tried my absolute best to act like a blind and proper housekeeper. When she passed by in something cool and light, I lowered my head and wiped the table. When she bent down and showed a tempting curve, I turned to study the stove flame. But Yi Xichao seemed determined to test the limit of my self-control, jumping back and forth across my bottom line. Time passed quietly through my awkward housekeeper days and her relaxed enjoyment. One weekend afternoon, she changed clothes and stepped out of the bedroom. "Jiang Wei, come on. Go out with me." "Where?" To watch a movie, a coworker gave me tickets. Waste not, want not. We reached the theater, got tickets, and went in. Then found our seats. Only when the lights went down and eerie music began to play did I finally realize this was a horror movie. I instinctively turned my head and looked at Yi Xichao beside me. The screen glow flickered across her face. The movie moved very quickly, with jump scares one after another. Every time a ghost flashed on screen or the sound suddenly exploded, Yi Xichao would shudder hard and suck in a quiet breath. Less than 20 minutes in, without even realizing it, she had shifted toward me, her arm pressed tightly against mine, sending over a faint tremble. "Hey, are you okay?" I am fine." She was stubborn, but her voice was trembling. "It is just a little cold," she said. The air conditioning was low, but I felt she was mostly scared. Then another bloody scene flashed by, with a character's shrill scream. Yi Xichao let out a small cry and suddenly shrank toward me, burying herself straight into my arms. Her soft warmth crashed into me, and her pleasant scent, mixed with the sweetness of popcorn, rushed into my nose. My body instantly stiffened, arms frozen in midair. Not knowing where to go, my mind went completely blank. Only the trembling body in my arms felt shockingly clear. "If you are scared, stop watching." No way. "We cannot waste the tickets." She buried her face in my chest and answered in a muffled voice, but showed no sign of leaving my arms. So for the second half of the movie, she spent almost all of it in my embrace. I became a full-sized human pillow. Not daring to move, my arms finally hovered behind her, carefully, afraid to touch anywhere I should not. I did not take in a single frame of the movie. All my senses were locked on the woman in my arms. Her hair brushed my chin, making it itch. Her breath warmed my skin through the fabric. Her softness pressed close to me. This was the sweetest torture in the world. When the theater lights suddenly came on, she seemed burned by them and jumped out of my arms. Her cheeks were burning red. She stood up first, almost fleeing in panic. I took a deep breath, pressed down my restless heart, and followed. On the way home, the car was filled with a strange silence. She focused on the steering wheel, while I looked out at the rushing night. But the softness I had held earlier, and that racing heartbeat, still refused to fade. I thought the whole thing would end there. But that night, while I was half asleep, someone lightly knocked on my bedroom door. "Jiang Wei. Jiang Wei. Are you asleep?" Yi Xichao's voice came from outside, soft and uneasy. I struggled out of bed and opened the door. There she stood, in that almost sheer silk nightdress, with a thin coat loosely over it, holding a pillow in her arms, barefoot at my door. Her eyes were slightly red, like a frightened little rabbit. I am a little scared. The movie keeps flashing in my head. I cannot sleep. Can I sleep on the floor here? Seeing her pitiful look, then seeing that outfit, that was almost the same as wearing nothing. My temples started pounding. Let her sleep in my room. How could that be right? One man, one woman, alone at night, but she was my patron, the one paying my wages and my mother's medical bills. Now she was this frightened and only asking for something small. I took a deep breath. "You take the bed. I will sleep on the floor." "How can that be? It is fine." My tone was firm, and I moved at once, pulling spare bedding from the closet. "You are the employer. How could I let you sleep on the floor?" She silently watched me as I quickly made the floor bed. Then, "Thank you," she finally whispered. Then climbed gently onto my bed. I turned off the ceiling light, leaving only a dim bedside lamp, then quickly rolled into the floor bed, with my back to the bed and my eyes shut tight. "Good night, Jiang Wei." Her voice drifted from the bed, with a faint softness at the end. "Good night." The room fell quiet again. Only two soft breaths remained, rising and falling. I could even hear her turning lightly on the bed. The sound of cloth rubbing in the quiet night seemed magnified several times. I do not know how long passed before exhaustion and tension mixed together and dragged me deep into sleep. In my dream, I returned to childhood, holding the old orange cat my family had raised for years. It was soft, warm, and fluffy, with the scent of sun-warmed fur, nestling comfortably in my arms. Purring with pure satisfaction, I unconsciously tightened my arms, pulling that warm little bundle deeper into my embrace. My cheek brushed its soft forehead, and a peace I had never known wrapped tightly around me. What a wonderful dream! After that night in the same room, the line between Yi Xichao and me grew even more blurred. She seemed to find a new amusement and began dragging me out on weekends, calling it life experience, instead of staying home all day. But beneath every outing, there flowed a vague and hard to explain tension. At art exhibits, she wore tight hip-hugging dresses, and when I bent to read the labels, she would lean down at just the right time. At new luxury stores, when trying on dresses with terrifying price tags, she always lifted the curtain a little. Jiang Wei, does this one look good? These frequent outings and our daily life under one roof let me see far more than her surface. When she was in a good mood, she would tell me bits of her life, and I slowly pieced it together. She was a classic rich daughter. Her father once ran a fairly large company, and the family was wealthy. But fate was cruel. A few years ago, her father fell terminally ill. Before he died, for reasons unknown, he sold off most of the company shares, leaving enough wealth for her and her mother to live comfortably forever. Her mother was deeply hurt, and now traveled everywhere to clear her mind, rarely coming home. As for Yi Xichao herself, she had grown tired of parties and social circles, finding them dull, so she casually took an easy admin job just to pass the time. Then why not hire a cleaner or a proper housekeeper before? I finally asked the question that had bothered me. With her background, hiring professional help should have been effortless. So why let her home get that bad? And why choose a thief like me instead? When she heard me, Yi Xichao's hands paused. As she arranged the lilies I had bought into a vase, she turned her face and gave me a faint smile. Outsiders could never be as thoughtful as you. That smile held some self-mockery and something harder to explain. Her tone drifted lightly, but she never gave the real answer. The days slipped by quietly, with my awkwardness and Yi Xichao's growing closeness. Until my birthday arrived, I had almost forgotten the date myself. That morning, my mother sent me a blessing message. Just as my heart felt a little sour, Yi Xichao mysteriously came over. Jiang Wei, the weather is so nice today. Do not stay home. Come shopping with me. Before I could say a word, she dragged me out, and that outing lasted from morning light to evening dusk. She seemed to have prepared a perfect schedule in advance, packed from start to finish, yet full of thought. We went to the tech exhibition I had always wanted to visit, then had an absurdly refined lunch at a rotating restaurant on the top floor. That afternoon, she even dragged me into the arcade I loved as a child. She looked clumsy and cute with the shooting game, and had no rhythm in the music game, but her laugh was brighter than anyone's, like a schoolgirl sneaking out for fun. By sunset, both my hands were full of bags, mostly trophies from her shopping spree. My legs were so sore they barely felt like mine. What do you want for dinner? My treat. You pick the restaurant. Looking at the city lights turning on, a strange tiredness and longing rose in my heart at once. How about we eat at home tonight? I will cook. Yi Xichao froze. Then her eyes curved into crescents. Sure, let us eat at home. We can buy groceries. We turned into a nearby supermarket. She pushed the cart, like a child curious about everything, and threw at anything that caught her interest. Can you cook this? What about that? I want your best dish. Carrying several stuffed bags of groceries, we returned to 1704. In the kitchen, I tied on an apron and threw myself into cooking. Today, for once, she did not curl up on the sofa. Instead, she moved a tall stool beside the kitchen island, resting her chin in her hands as she watched me. Washing and cutting vegetables, stir-frying and seasoning, I focused fully on the stove. And all she could hear was the steady rhythm of the knife, the sizzling oil in the pan, and my occasional instructions. Hand me that plate. Get me a scallion. Coming, she helped like a busy little bee. Warm yellow light fell around us, filling the room with a comfort and peace I had never felt. When the final soup left the pot, the dining table was already full of fragrant, colorful dishes. Yi Xichao somehow brought out an expensive-looking bottle of red wine and opened it skillfully, pouring the wine into a decanter. She smiled and filled my glass, then filled her own to the brim. Thank you, chef. Looking at that table of food and her smiling face across from me, some corner of my heart felt soaked in warm water and softened completely. The taste of home was something I had not known in years. But just as I picked up my chopsticks, ready to enjoy this unusual birthday meal, Yi Xichao gently pressed down on my wrist. Her eyes sparkled with shyness and expectation. There is one more important part. Your birthday gift. I froze. But today already counts. She cut me off, stood up straight, and pulled me to sit on the sofa. Sit here and close your eyes. No peeking. Her tone carried a bossiness that allowed no argument. I obediently shut my eyes, curious and amused inside, wondering what new trick this young lady was about to play. I heard her light steps heading to the bedroom, then the faint sounds of the door closing. Seconds ticked by. The living room was quiet enough to hear my heartbeat. What was she doing? Just as I almost opened my eyes, a faint gingling sound drifted toward me, along with a light, elegant scent, completely different from her usual perfume. You can open them, her voice rang out, with a hidden trace of nerves and shyness. I slowly opened my eyes, and for a moment, my breath stopped. My heart missed a full beat. Under the soft living room light, Yi Xichao stood quietly, wearing an incredibly gorgeous hanfu, a pale blue chest high ruchuan made of fine silk, embroidered with delicate lotus patterns and wide sleeves falling like clouds. The skirt flowed to the floor like water. Her long black hair was pinned up elegantly, with a few strands falling by her cheeks. Jade ornaments made her skin glow like snow, and her brows looked painted. Usually she was charming or playful, but now she looked like a lady from an ancient painting, pure and graceful, surrounded by a faint, otherworldly fairy air. Seeing me stare blankly, she smiled softly, her cheeks lifting with a shy blush. Jiang Wei. Happy birthday. I will dance for you as your birthday gift. Before I could react, she lowered her gaze slightly and formed an elegant pose with her hands. Ancient music slowly spread out, and her figure unfolded with the melody. Her sleeves flowed like clouds, like mist over mountains. Her skirt rippled outward, like a dream made real. Her steps were not very polished, and a few turns were even a little clumsy. But her focused heart and open sincerity, along with the tender feeling hidden in her glances, hit harder than any flawless technique could ever have done. When she spun, her hair and sleeves flew together, like a blue lotus, blooming under moonlight. When she looked back, her eyes seemed to speak, filled with starlight and the reflection of my dazed face. Fine food and wine sat beside us, and a beauty in hanfu danced only for me. In that moment, thief, employee, or employer, all those roles blurred away. I sank into the sofa, watching that dreamlike scene, as a surreal but intense feeling surged through my chest. What had I ever done to deserve a blessing like an emperor, and this stunning beauty before me? From start to finish, only had eyes for me. The dance ended as she bowed and shyly raised her eyes. The living room fell quiet again, with only our slightly hurried breathing and the unspoken tension already filling the air. She stood there, cheeks flushed red, her chest rising softly, looking at me with boldness and shyness. Then asked softly, looking at this fairy-like woman, gazing at me with shining eyes. My heart thundered inside my chest. I like it. My voice was painfully hoarse. I like it a lot. Her eyes lit up at once, as if countless stars had fallen into them. The blush by her cheeks grew deeper, and she sat across from me. Then let us eat and taste our great chef's cooking. Sure, chef. I lifted my glass and gently clinked it with hers. That crisp sound felt like a silent signal. Opening the curtain on this unusual night, the food tasted wonderful. I had poured my heart into every dish. As we ate, we talked about the exhibits and arcade games. The mood at the table was light and happy. She kept refilling my glass, her beautiful eyes glowing under the light and wine. The red wine was rich, with a fruity aroma. I usually held my liquor well. Even strong liquor was never a problem. But somehow, after only a few glasses tonight, a strange heavy drunkenness rushed up from my stomach. My head grew heavy and dizzy, and my vision blurred with a thin haze. Across from me, Yi Xichao's smiling face seemed wrapped in a soft glow. Too beautiful to be real. It felt like a fire had been lit inside me, leaving my mouth dry, and my heartbeat completely out of rhythm. I shook my head, trying to clear my mind. But the dizziness only grew heavier. What is wrong, Jiang Wei? Did you drink too much? Yi Xichao's voice sounded concerned as she leaned closer, her warm breath brushing my ear. I looked up at her and met her eyes just inches away. The shyness and expectation in them had quietly disappeared, replaced by the look of someone whose plan had worked. Like a cat that stole a fish. Something was wrong, very wrong. The thought flashed like lightning through my cloudy mind. But it was already too late. A powerful weakness swept over my body. I tried to stand, but only swayed uselessly. My arms were too weak to lift. I forced out a single word as the world spun around me. Right before my mind sank into darkness, through my blurred vision, I saw Yi Xichao stand up, her face carrying a blush of shyness and certainty. Her pale hand reached to her waist, loosening the hanfu's fine ties. Her delicate skin glowed softly under the light. She leaned closer, her fragrant fingers brushing my burning forehead as a whisper fell by my ear. The last thing I saw was the shy yet bold smile of someone who had gotten her way. Then I sank completely into darkness. When I woke up, morning sunlight was shining through the window. My head felt like it would split. I frowned and opened my eyes as my blurred vision focused. There was a strange crystal ceiling and an incredibly soft blanket beneath me. This was not my guest room. Realizing something, I suddenly turned my head. Yi Xichao lay beside me, sleeping deeply, her black hair spread over the pillow like seaweed, her long lashes resting like butterflies, and the quilt had slipped to her waist, revealing bare rounded shoulders and a delicate collarbone. My mind exploded with a boom, and my whole body froze. Even my breathing stopped. Broken memories of last night flooded back. Her dance, that strange drunkenness, the loosened ties, and the hazy heat in the dark. Just then, the person beside me woke softly. Meeting my shocked and helpless gaze, she froze at first, then her cheeks quickly flushed red, and she pulled the blanket up to her chin, leaving only her watery eyes showing, blinking as she looked at me. Her gaze held shyness, panic, and a tiny hint of mischief. Jiang Wei, from the day you cleaned my home, I decided you would take responsibility for the rest of your life.